What can you build at home using a tube, a balloon, and a straw? Let's find out. Come on, it's music time. Hey everyone, Mr. Cobb here with our feature segment for episode 24 of Music Time. During the last 20 years of teaching music, I've been making instruments with my students at school this time of year. So, I've been thinking about what we could build this year with me on this side of the camera and you on that side. If you're not at home while you're watching this, you may just have to watch for now and then try building this instrument at home later when you can gather the materials that you're gonna need. For this episode and next, we're gonna look at a couple of instruments that you could make at home while you're doing your music lesson. Today, we're gonna be building something called a balloon bassoon from items you should be able to find around the house. If you don't have exactly the same thing that I have here, try thinking about what could you substitute instead? For example, if you don't have a paper towel tube, what other kind of tube could you find where you live? Here's the materials and tools that we will need for today's project. An empty balloon of some sort, some kind of tape, a straw, a tube of some kind, a good pair of scissors. You can pause this video now while you gather these things, or you can just watch for now and then re-watch this segment again once you have the materials together. If using scissors by yourself is a challenge, you might be able to get some help from an older brother or sister, or maybe an adult for this part of the project. We only have 2 cuts to make, so you won't need their help for very long. Once you have all the materials together, head to the next part of the video and we'll begin building our balloon bassoon. Got all your materials and tools? Great, here we go. Step 1, you're gonna cut off the small end of your balloon. My scissors didn't like to cut through rubber very well, so I sort of had to do it a bunch to get through it. But you're just gonna cut off that little mouthpiece that's on the balloon because it'll get in the way of a good tape seal when we tape it to our straw in a little bit. Step 2, you're going to cut off a little bit off of the big end of the balloon. Again, my scissors don't like cutting this rubber, so I had to kind of chew at it a little bit. You want to take off enough to make a big hole that's going to stretch over our tube, but you don't want to take off so much of the balloon that you don't have enough to work with. So I only took off about that much. You're ready for step number 3. Which is you're going to insert your straw into the small end of the balloon and you're going to tape it securely in place. We're going to be blowing through our straw later on and we don't want the balloon to slip off. So I'm going to put about that much through and you'll notice that my balloon is bigger than my straw. And so I'm just going to sort of fold it over and wrap it around. Once I have it on there, I'm going to hold on to it while I tape it. Here's my tape. And I'm just going to roll that tape around, make sure it's catching the balloon and the straw both. There we go. You are ready for step number 4. I'm using a short straw, but any size straw will do. If you have a long one, that's fine. For step 4, stretch the large end of the balloon over one end of your tube. Doesn't really matter which end of your tube you use. Take your balloon, stretch it out, sort of like a swim cap. If you've ever had to put one of those on, you stretch it over and then it just sort of snaps in place. You want some of it around the whole edge so that you can tape on there. I didn't do that the first time when I made one of these, and so when I blew through it, the balloon came off of my tube. So you want to make sure that you tape that balloon down. Again, go all the way around it so that the air can't escape. The only place for the air to go is through the end of your tube. Well, We are done building our balloon bassoon. Now comes how to play it, or what we call technique. If you just blow into the straw, you'll probably get a sound like this. Not very satisfying. What you want to do is stretch the balloon so that when you blow air into it, the balloon is vibrating and makes a sound through the tube. Kind of like a foghorn. I find that if I hold the tube a little bit higher than my straw, it stretches the balloon nicely over the end of the tube. Now when you blow, you should get a noise something like this. You'll probably only get one note out of your balloon bassoon, but if you build more than one with different size tubes, you should be able to get different pitches. I built a short one, I built one with a shorter boom whacker, and I built one with a longer boom whacker. You may remember from past episodes of Music Time, we've talked about the size-pitch relationship that basically says if something is longer, it will make a lower sound. So a balloon bassoon made with a longer tube should make a lower pitch than a balloon bassoon made with a shorter tube. Let's try experimenting. Here's my short one. Here's kind of a medium-sized one. A little bit longer. And then my longest. You can try experimenting with your technique at home. For example, I found that if I pushed my finger on the balloon while I was blowing, I could often change the pitch, like this. So, you could try experimenting with what happens if you pull the balloon tighter. What happens if the balloon is looser? You could experiment with different ways to play your balloon bassoon. You may even find a way to play it that I haven't even thought of yet. A word of caution. If you start feeling dizzy while you are playing your balloon bassoon, you've probably been playing it too long and you're ready for a break. And if you play it all day long, your parents will be ready for a break too. So, give this a try at home. Tell me how it went. Maybe you could record yourself with your computer's camera or with a phone and send me the video. I may be able to include your video in next week's episode when I do the feature and we build a new instrument. So maybe I can use what you send me. Well, that's going to do it for our feature for Music Time today. Feel free to replay this segment if you need to hear the directions again for building your balloon bassoon. Remember, if you can, try sending me a recording of you playing your balloon bassoon. Maybe you can get mom or dad to make one too and record a short concert for me. Have fun building your instrument, and we'll see you next time. Now let's head over to Rhythms with Mr. Reynolds.
Welcome to another exciting episode of Rhythms with Mr. Reynolds. Today we're going to continue our journey through music as we look at different songs and figure out what rhythms are going on in there. This week we're going to look at a song called Popcorn Bag. Now what's interesting about this song is we're going to see it 2 times today. You're going to see it right now as we go through it and figure out all the different rhythms, and then you're going to see it later on at the end of the episode when we learn how to play the song, you guessed it, on our recorders. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Stick around. Here's the song they call Popcorn Bag. Now if you're wondering why are all these songs ending with the word bag, it's because we have learned on the recorder the notes B, A, and G. And so it just makes sense to have the letters B, A, and G in the songs. So here we go with Popcorn Bag. Here's the song. We're going to first talk about the roadmap, okay? So as we go through the song, we can see that we're playing along the song over here. And then at measure 9, we come across, the left-hand side of a repeat sign. We know that at some point in the future, there's going to be a repeat. And that repeat is going to bring us back to this sign, okay? And then we move along, knowing that we're going to come back here eventually. And we're going to play our song, la, 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 la. And then we see, here is the sign. Yes, we all saw the sign, and it opened up our eyes. Here's the sign. So we know that this sign is going to come back to the road map. We're going to talk about that in just a minute, but it's there. We see it. We know we're coming back. And then the song comes along, la, 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 la. And then we see to coda. There's the coda symbol. Okay. And then here is the repeat sign. Okay. So that means we are going to jump back to the repeat sign we saw earlier, okay? So now we're back here at measure 9, and we're gonna move along, playing the song again, etc. We're passing the sign again. We're passing the coda again, and then we continue on to this next part at 33, and we keep going, playing along here, and then we get to DS al coda. DS al coda means del segno al coda. That means we're gonna jump from here back up to the sign we saw earlier and play until we get to the coda sign. And then once we get to the coda sign, we jump over here to where the other coda sign is, and we finish the song to the double bar, and that is the end. This is kind of a complicated song in terms of the roadmap, in terms of all the fun places we're gonna go in this song. So let's do this one more time. I'll do it quickly, and then we'll start doing our rhythms. So we start with our 2 measures of rest. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. And then we go along with our song. We're gonna repeat back here eventually. We go along through the song. We see the sign. We see the coda symbol, and there's our repeat. We jump back to measure 9, and we play through that part again. Passing the sign, passing the coda, and this time we pass the repeat because we've already repeated, and we go on to 33. And we pass through the rest of the song, and we get to DS al coda. Once again, del segno al coda means we go back to the sign, jump to the sign, and we play until we get to the coda, and then we go down here, jump to the coda at the end, and then we play out the rest of the song to the double bar. And that's it. Okay, in this song, we see there are 2s, there are shushes, there are some tas, right? And that's it. There's no TTs. Oh, look here, there's a 3. And there's a 4. So those are the types of notes that we have. And remember, we're gonna come back later and we're gonna play this song with our recorders. It's gonna be so much fun. So let's go ahead and clap this rhythm. Here we go. 2, 2, ready, and 2, sh, 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 2, 2, sh, 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 2, sh, 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 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, ta, sh, sh, ta, ta, sh, sh, ta, ta, sh, sh, ta, ta, sh, sh, ta, 2, 2, 2, 2, sh, 2, ta, 2, 2, ta, sh, sh, ta, ta, sh, sh, ta, sh, 2, ta, 2, 2, ta, ta, sh, sh, ta, ta, sh, sh, ta, ta, sh, sh, ta, 3, ta, ta, sh, sh, ta, ta, sh, sh, ta, ta, sh, sh, 4, repeat, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, ta, sh, sh, ta, ta, sh, sh, ta, ta, sh, sh, ta, ta, sh, sh, ta, 2, 2, 2, 2, sh, 2, ta, 2, 2, ta, sh, ta, ta, sh, sh, ta, sh, two, ta, two, two, ta, ta, sh, sh, ta, ta, sh, sh, ta, ta, sh, sh, ta, three, ta, ta, sh, sh, ta, ta, sh, sh, ta, ta, sh, sh, four, ta, ta, sh, sh, ta, ta, sh, sh, ta, ta, sh, sh, ta, sh, 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 ta, ta, sh, sh, ta, ta, sh, sh, ta, ta, sh, sh, four, ta, ta, sh, sh, ta, ta, sh, sh, ta, ta, sh, sh, ta, three, ta, ta, sh, sh, ta, ta, sh, sh, ta, ta. Here's the coda. Four, two, two, ta, ta, sh, sh. And the song is over. Good job, everybody. Remember, you can always repeat this over and over until you get it just right. Thanks for joining me today. It's been a lot of fun. But don't worry, you're not done with me yet. You're going to see me in just a few minutes, and we're going to play this same song again on the recorder. So get ready. I'll see you then.
It's time to check in with Mrs. Eyestone for today's Elements of Music. Let's go.
Today we're going to look at the origins and genres of music. Origin is simply where something originated, and genre is a category or style of an art form. A few weeks ago, we looked at the significant contribution of African American music, and we'll definitely see that again today. But let's look more broadly and go back farther. Every culture around the world has music at its core, and it's been that way as far back as we can see. Each region of the world has its own musical history and unique sound. But in this age of technology, with the internet and social media, we have become even more musically connected as we share our sounds and styles, which continue to blend and evolve. But let's back up through time to look into the origins of music. What will we discover? The first signs of humans inhabiting the earth were found in Africa. Historians and musicologists agree that music was there in the beginning and that the voice was the first human instrument. The oldest man-made instrument ever found was a flute made of bone discovered in a cave in southern Germany. It's carbon dated to be nearly 40,000 years old. What music sounded like then on that flute? We'll never really know because it wasn't written down. In those ancient times, humans began to tell their stories with hieroglyphics, pictures on the walls of caves. From those images, we can see dancing and music being played. The types of instruments shown give us at least an impression of what it may have sounded like. As more and more hints have been gathered, we can almost hear the music of those early people. Folk music is just that. It's the music of the people. It tells their story. The variety of folk music around the world is as vast as the different regions it originates from. Folk songs reflect the issues, thoughts, and emotions of the time. In those early years, songs weren't written down, but passed along orally and taught by rote, so there could be many variations of the same song and story. As humans advanced, these folk songs began to be written down and later recorded, so now we can hear the distinct sounds of each world culture, coming from the melodic patterns and the unique instruments from those regions. Folk music is sometimes referred to as world music. Throughout history, music has been used to bind people together for a common purpose. It was core to many religions. In Europe, some of the first music to be written down was church music. Musical notation was developed in the church, so we have a good idea of what that music sounded like versus the early music of ancient times. These early works were commonly known as Gregorian chants, but more accurately, plain songs. This composed music continued to develop through the medieval period, becoming more sophisticated and fuller in sound. In the Renaissance period, stringed instruments that we know today were created and became one of the most prominent sounds of composed music. During the Baroque period, music was even more expressive and ornate. The classical period brought beauty, elegance, and balance with composers like Mozart. Beethoven wrote in the classical period, but also moved into the Romantic period, where music became more dramatic and free in its form. Finally, in the modern and postmodern era, where we are today, composers are and were more innovative and experimental with sounds. All of this European music, both folk and classical, came to America with the first colonists and was the standard for music in early American history. At that same time, a most significant musical sound was also brought to America from Africa with the slaves. Their rhythms and melodies changed music forever, and as time went on, it changed music around the world. Out of the hardships of slavery came work songs, Negro spirituals, the blues, and gospel music. Once the slaves were freed and traveled onward, they spread their musical sound. In the late 1800s, many musicians landed in the international port of New Orleans, where musical influences mingled and merged, including those from the Caribbean and the West Indies. These sounds developed into ragtime. Marching bands with brass instruments were popular at the time and became a part of the mix to create jazz. This was a uniquely American music. Country music is an especially mixed bag of sounds. When you think of the banjo, fiddle, and harmonica, bluegrass and country music come to mind, associated with Southern white musicians. However, the banjo was created by the African American slaves. They were trained on the fiddle and other instruments to play folk songs and melodies from England, Scotland, and Ireland. They were the musicians that played for Southern white dances. This was the first time the banjo and fiddle were played together, and the mixture of African rhythms and music from the British Isles was very popular. It was adopted by white musicians and became known as bluegrass, which then grew into country music. Out of the blues and gospel music came rhythm and blues, soon to be known as rock and roll. It was created by black musicians and again adopted by white musicians, who then added a splash of country music. The sound of rock and roll was unstoppable and has continued to evolve into the music we love today. Most all popular music heard today around the world has its roots in black music, but of course is blended with European sounds and every other region on the earth. No genre of music stands alone. It's all influenced by the music that has come before, that has traveled and been shared around the world.
Ready to sing together? Let's go see what Miss Kramer has for us today in voice class.
Hey, greetings music lovers and those of you who love to sing. I'm Miss Kramer and I'm doing voice class this week. So we've done a lot of songs that are round songs and they're really fun to sing. And what's fun about them is that it is a great way to learn how to sing harmonies. So we've talked about that throughout the year. So I have another round song for you today, and it's called Let Us Sing Together. It has 3 parts to it. And before we sing it in a round, which means that all the parts are singing the same thing, but now they're not singing them at the same time. So we know that from our other round songs this year. So one part will start singing, and then after they've sung a little bit, then the other part will come in singing the same thing but starting at a different time, and then the other part comes in a little bit later. That's what makes it a round, right? So let's learn our 3 parts first. Here's part 1. Part 1 goes like this. Let us sing together, let us sing together, one and all a joyous song. Let us sing together, let us sing together, one and all a joyous song. Part 2 goes like this. Let us sing together, one and all a joyous song. Let's do that one more time. Let us sing together, one and all a joyous song. Part 3 sounds like this. Let us sing again and again. Let us sing again and again. Let us sing again and again. One and all a joyous song. Let's do that one more time. Let us sing again and again. Let us sing again and again. Let us sing again and again. One and all a joyous song. All right, so I'm going to put them all together. Now each part starts right after the next. There's no break in between the two. All right, so let's see if we can sing it together. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let us sing together, let us sing together, one and all a joyous song. Let us sing together, one and all a joyous song. Let us sing again and again. Let us sing again and again. Let us sing again and again. One and all a joyous song. Okay, so that's the whole song. Now what I'd like you to do is I want you to pause your video and I want you to go back and learn that. I didn't expect you to learn it just in hearing it, one time through. So the lyrics are on the screen. Go back and learn that before you come back around and try to sing it in a round. All right? Okay, we're back. So you got the song learned. Now we're going to put it in a round. So how this works is that the first time we do this round, the first part is going to sing. Let us sing together, let us sing together, one and all a joyous song. Right there is where the second part's going to come in, singing, let us sing together, let us sing together, right? When they get done, one and all a joyous song, then part 3 is going to start. The tricky part is that once you start, you don't stop, right? So even though other people are coming in and singing at the same time, you got to stay, I call it staying on your track, right? So it's like you're a train. You're staying on your track while others come in and kind of like go side by side with you. So you got to stay on your own track. All right, let's give it a go. You ready? Let us sing together, let us sing together, one and all a joyous song. Let us sing together, let us sing together, one and all a joyous song. Let us sing again and again, 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 one and all a joyous song. Let us sing again and again, 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 let us sing again and again. joyous song. Wasn't that cool? The harmonies that are created by singing that song in a round, each part just singing the same exact song but starting at a different time, are just beautiful that they create. Now, I've got a challenge for you, okay? If you could do that and you kind of went, piece of cake. Let's do it one more time, and we'll just sing this one through one time, all right? We did that one last time, that last one 2 times through. On this one, we're gonna start quicker. So what's gonna happen is part 1 is gonna sing, let us sing together. Right there is where part 2 is gonna come in and sing, let us sing together. Then part 3 is gonna sing, let us sing together. So it's gonna come in a lot quicker. So the very beginning of the song is gonna sound like this. Let us sing together, let us sing together, let us sing together. And then everybody keeps singing. So now our parts, our harmonies, our round is gonna be closer together because they started closer together. Ready to give it a go? All right, let's do it. Let us sing together, 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 let us sing again, again, let us sing again and again, let us sing again and again, let us sing a joyous song. Well, how'd you do? Were you able to keep up with it? Part 1 is usually the easiest part to start with, but you still have to be concentrating really hard when those other parts come in. All right, my friends, that was an awesome time together. We'll see you next time. Take care. Let us sing again, again. Let us sing again and again. Let us sing again, again. Let us sing
Welcome to this episode of Recorder Corner. Can you believe it? We made it all the way to the end of the episode. Now we're finally gonna play that song, Popcorn Bag, with our recorders. It's gonna be so great. So let's remember what notes that we're going to be playing with this song. It's called Popcorn Bag because we're gonna be playing with B, A, and G. So remember, when you hold your recorder, your left hand is on top, and you're pushing the back hole and the front top hole, and that is your B. And then you put down one more finger. This is your A. Put down your third finger, and this is your G. B, A, G. Okay? And those are the only 3 notes we're going to be using in this song. Okay? Let's check it out. Thanks for joining me for Recorder Corner this week. It's been a lot of fun. Well, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Well, that's going to do it for Music Time today. Hope you had as much fun as we did. We'll see you next time.